Good morning, everyone. Hello. Hi.
Margarisi, thank you so much. You're also innovating by starting with music. That was incredibly refreshing to have such a good vibe in the beginning. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. This is so exciting.
Thank you.
So, I'm very glad to finally be here. I think today what we're going to do with Fabricio is try to tell you some of his experience in building Movile, which is an incredible company and where I'm very lucky to be an investor in, by telling some short stories and cases, because I think that's where people kind of remember more. So Fabricio, let's start with the beginning, the very beginning. Could you picture for us how was it when you started, what was your initial idea, and what was the big dream then?
Good morning, everyone. Hello, Veronica. Pleasure to be here again in BayBrazil. I've been here many years ago. But telling a little about Movile, I don't know if you know who is Movile. Movile, I could say, is a 30, 40 people company doing maybe $1 million per year in revenue 10 years ago. And during these 10 years, we'll be growing a lot. Right now, we have 3,500 people. We just said our last public number is we are doing more or less R$1 billion in sales per month, but growing 100% per year, 130% per year. So we started to grow a lot. We are just starting today. Movile are many companies. My biggest company today is called iFood. So hope who are Brazilians know iFood and have ordered something to eat to iFood. iFood just hired in the last 6 months 1,000 people, so you can imagine how crazy it is to manage, make it growing and keep the culture. That's the most important thing of my company. But we have more than 10 other companies inside the ecosystem. So we have Play Kids, who has small kids, probably know Play Kids. We have Wave, a messaging business. We have Simpla, a ticketing business. We have 2 payment companies and more 5 or 6 companies. So today Movile is a big ecosystem, but we started as a 2-person company going out from the university. The things got wrong, lots of things got wrong. Many people asked me what was the idea. Actually, idea I have like more or less 10 every day. Most of them goes completely wrong. I'm very good in having very wrong ideas and in having big failures. I questioned if any of you lose money as fast as myself. I'm very good in putting money in some idea and destroying the money very fast. But I'm very good on that. And the culture of Movile is, if I lose more money than everyone else in the company, why are they not taking risks, learning fast, moving fast, learning faster, and sometimes doing things right and growing a lot. We've done also a few things right, not myself, but lots of people. And I can tell lots about stories about what we did things wrong. I just want to tell one thing before getting back to you. It's very nice to be here specifically because I told you 10 years ago we were like a 30-person company. Many people in this room participate in this story. Veronica invested in us 5 years ago. Anderson was the big investor from 10 years ago when we were a 30-people company. So he is the crazy guy, not myself. He put the money there. I could list like 10, 20 people here. Where is Cochran? Cochran is the best investor I never had. Where is he? I'm not finding him, but I know lots of people here that worked a lot. And specifically, when we were a 30 or 40 people company, I think 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, I came here to the Valley for the first time. And I started interacting with BayBrazil, when BayBrazil was just starting also too. So it was like maybe 20 people conference, much smaller. And I learned a lot from the Valley. Movile today is like in 10 countries, but we have an office here in the Valley, in Miami, and in many countries. But interacting with this ecosystem teached us a lot, was a good inspiration. By that time, I just take an airplane by myself and try to see what I could learn here and have this connection, make the difference to us to be closer to the Valley and learn more. So it's very good to get back and teach and tell what we are doing wrong. Maybe some other people can do a 10 times better, bigger company in the near future.
So what was Movile in the first 10 years?
Movile started doing mobile content. So So we started doing message for mobile phones, from chat, ringtones, messaging, images in the phone. And that's how we started as a small company in Campinas in Brazil.
And how many, I was asking Fabricio how many companies he acquired, because one of the most remarkable things that made us invest was really the quality of the team that you led, in addition to yourself as the leader. And Fabricio said, well, that's hard to say, but it's over 40 transactions in terms of rounds and M&As and all that, and what, 20 companies you acquired?
Yes.
And
we did more or less 50 transactions, more or less, and acquisitions maybe 20, 25, I don't know, to be honest.
And what happened to the founders of those companies?
Many of them are in Movile. Some of them left when we do a full acquisition. Some of them left, but lots of them are in important positions in Movile today too. And I learned a little about that here from the Valley. I'm seeing Home there. I learned a lot from Home too. I learned from everyone around here. And when I came to the Valley for the first time, doing M&As in Brazil were quite strange. Tech M&As was like no tech M&As in Brazil 10 years ago. And what I saw here is that the biggest company here were acquiring smaller companies all the time, doing investments, corporate venture capital. And we started doing that because of what we saw here. And it was completely transformative to Movile. So when we were a quite small company, first we merged with our competitor and became a twice bigger company. Then we acquired a third competitor, like a $5 million deal, something small 10 years ago. And the result of these three companies became a substantially better company. We were more efficient, better products, more people, and then we grow probably 3 or 4 or 5 times organically over the next 1 or 2 years. And I learned about this possibility of being more aggressive in M&A, staying more time here, and then from there we did more 40 or 50 transactions over the last 7 or 8 years.
So when we met, which I think was in 2013, you were basically a messaging business serving 20 carriers across all of Latin America, 45 million in EBITDA, so positive, was making a lot of money. And then you just decided to suddenly diversify and take the opportunity to look into the O2O market. Could you go back to those days and tell us how Movile suddenly sort of completely changed its business?
Suddenly, overnight, as Manuel said, just changed everything, and then we grew up all the time. More or less that's not how it happened. But the big thing that I can connect to, we're talking about 5 years ago or 6 years ago, is we think really big in Movile. I love the idea about dream big. Our idea was to create, by that time, a $10 billion company. We were quite small, and we talked all the time about how we want to create a $10 billion global leader that is going to be all around Americas and US and the world. And I had a successful small company because it was profitable, generated a few $1 million in profit. But we want to grow to be 100 times bigger, 1,000 times bigger. And in my opinion, thinking big is one of the core things that make Movile different. Actually, the one thing that makes Movile different is our culture. How we treat people, how we hire people, how we motivate people, but everything starts with thinking very big. So by that time, we had an amazing innovation machine, very good people, M&A capability, but in the carrier business, I was working with mobile carriers, we couldn't grow 1,000 times. So we started to think how we can use my assets to invest in new verticals. We listed many verticals. One of them, for example, was kids content or taxi transportation like Uber, and food delivery and many other things. Many people think how I did right the 2 or 3 things that make Movile big. This is obviously a wrong way to look at that. We did 25 things easily, and we failed in 21. So the problem is not do right. The question is, our culture was think very big. We are only doing for big results, very good people empowered to do everything they have to do. Take big bets, and some of those, and fast and cheap. So we are trying to be a lean company, even we are bigger today, do things very fast and fail and lose a little money, but keep learning. And a few things got right so far. But the best things of Movile are the next 5 years, so keep looking.
Talk a little bit about the wall with the dreams that every employee has to put their dream up there, and what is the big dream right now?
The big dream of Movile is to have make life better of 1 billion persons through our apps. So we already touch like 400 million people every 2 months, so we need more 600 million people. We have a lot to do. And because we have this big dream, and everything in Movile starts with the big dream, we call it the dreams wall, where everyone puts a very big dream in the wall with a very nice picture and a date to achieve that dream. And the Movile dream is 1 billion persons and transact more than $10 billion. But every people there do the dream. Everything started with my own dream. When I was in the university, I wanted to be a pilot and pilot my helicopter going back to the beach and get back pilot my helicopter. And I put this dream in the wall when Movile was like a 2-person's company. And this empowered us a lot because things get wrong every day. And people, when I go to an event like that, some people say, oh, things today are easier. No, the things are worse. I'm working more than ever, and every problem I lose more money than ever. But because we are always energized by our big dreams, we all believe that in the end we will prevail and things are going to get right, and we are doing that because we love what we are doing. So that was my original dream, pilot between one company and another. I am a helicopter pilot today, someone is asking. But it's very dangerous to fly with me, so if you are very brave, someday you can invite me to fly. But we do it with everyone. So we have 3,500 people, and every one of them have their dreams in the wall. Some people is fly to spend the weekend in the beach with my family. Some people have a kid. Some people become a millionaire. Some people go to Harvard. But that's the energy of the company. We are building a place where we want to build a dream to make the region, the country and the region and the world better, but you have to fulfill your own dream while you are building Movile. So this is a very important part of Movile culture.
So Fabricio, let's talk a little bit about talent. How important is talent for you to be able to fulfill those dreams, and how do you attract, retain, and promote talent at Movile?
The question is, how important is talent? I can't understand this question because the only thing that matters in Movile is the people of Movile. It's the only thing that matters. And it's nice to talk about that because many people say that people is important. But someone asked me what secrets I can tell about Movile. So the secrets I can tell you, some people are just sleeping there in the mobile phone. Hey you, the mobile phone. Now it's time for a secret. I couldn't get his attention there in the mobile phone. I could try. There is a guy there writing. Hello, nice to see you. Good secret now. The big thing is, everyone talks talent is important. No one takes the difficult decisions related to talents. Everyone talk, I want to have nice people, but are you taking the really difficult decisions? Many of you are entrepreneurs. Do you fire the people that are not good enough? Do you fire them fast enough? Do you spend your own time giving the example, studying and going to universities and doing new courses? Do you set the example how you keep it growing and becoming a better person every month so your teams could do it too? Do you spend a lot of time hiring people? Everyone say talent is important. Okay, how much time do you spend talking to lots of people that say, I don't want to go to work with you? And then you have to spend a lot of time convincing them that that's the best thing that he could do for his own life and for the world. So talent is unbelievably important. Many people ask how I have any idea. I don't have it. I have lots of bad ideas. But what makes Movile work is that I have 400 or 500 owners in Movile, not myself, but people that behave as owners all the time. People that don't like to spend money because it's the company money. Like in Movile, we don't spend money. It's a company thing we can spend. No, it's a company thing has to be cheap and efficient because it's our company and we have to make the best of our money. So we have 500 owners that work as much as possible to do our dreams become true. For sure, our recent success of the last few years depends on the good people I could hire, the good people that are motivated, that trust in myself, and how I deserve this trust, creating and empowering them to fulfill their own dreams, and they help Movile meanwhile. Some of them you are thinking, so but everyone says that. Everyone do the difficult part including give them stock options a lot, paying them more than you if it is necessary. Why not? They are doing more, they should make 10 times more than you, promoting them without ego, promoting the good people without considering their time in the company. So some of your friends are in the company for 5 years, someone is new, entered 1 year ago, and then you are not going to promote the 1 year ago guy because you know your friend is 5 years here, you don't want to make him unhappy. I'm sure all of you think of a situation like that, and I'm sure 80% of you postponed this decision for 2 or 3 years. What we do different in Movile, the only important thing is how we treat people, how we select them, how we motivate them, and we take all the bad decisions, can be paying more than you want, can be firing the people, can be working more, to empower these people to make the difference, and they do the difference.
And he's very fast. So I remember it was about 2 years ago, and the results were coming amazing. And every time I called Fabricio, I'm like, okay, you sound overworked. Are you hiring like 2 or 3 people to allow you to be even better at what you're doing? Because you know you wouldn't sleep. You were even more overweight than you are now. Which are very
I lost 2 inches. I thought you were going to say something nice.
Yeah, no, he looks amazing. I mean, he really is very diligent. But Fabricio responds. I haven't seen actually a CEO respond as quickly as he has. I remember it was December when about 2-3 years ago when I said, Fabricio, you really need 2 amazing people, like a right and a left-hand guy. And in January, like 2 weeks later, he's like, okay, we have a short list of people, and here's who we're bringing. But talent and attracting talent is something he does really, really well. Let's jump now to China. So you talked a little bit about Silicon Valley. I know that you've been going to China for the past 4 years maybe, and you take up to 15 people to China on these trips. Tell us how these experiences and the learnings you're bringing from China to Brazil, and give us some examples of what you've done based on those learnings.
So I will be polite with my hosts here and say China and Silicon Valley has been a great inspiration. Many years ago I used to come to here 2-3 times per year to always keep learning. Today I still come probably twice a year, but I go at least once a year also to China. And I think the big message besides that is how much time you are spending looking to the best people in the world on what you are doing. That's the big message. I spent a lot of time studying on the best universities in the world. And then when I talk to Movile, I tell to them, maybe you can't go to study in Harvard or in Stanford, but you have 2/3 of the content is open in the internet. So it's really spend time learning from the best of in the world. And we spend a lot of time learning from the best companies in the world. A lot of time. We innovate a lot. I think we are a very innovative company. What makes us grow is because we innovate. But we innovate because we are learning from everyone else, and then we can do the next step after reading what everyone in the world did. So I learned it from many companies in the Valley. Super important to be here. We are still here and visit a lot. But today, to me, going to Beijing is very inspiring. They are moving very fast. They are putting lots of money in new ideas. In the payments and the financial area, we are talking about the banks here earlier. They are better than the Americans, they are better than the Brazilians, they are the best in the world. In the super area and logistic areas, they are doing the best in the world. So the point is not the Chinese. You know what the best in the world are doing. A mistake I see, I know there's lots of Brazilians here. I asked Margarida before, should I speak in Portuguese or in English? And she said in English, good. But I know that 2/3 of you are Brazilians. And a bad thing about Brazil is that you look too much to Paulista Avenue and Faria Lima and say, I'm the best in this block. I don't care about being the best in this block. I want to be the best in the earth for now. Because now there is SpaceX and Blue Orange. So soon, the best of the mankind, exactly. So Brazilians look too much to the block. I keep always looking who are the best in the world. The best in the world is management, Veronica is our partner, and some of her partner is Jorge Paulo and 3G, etc. And we copy completely what they do in terms of management to be results driven, hire the best people. Then we, in my opinion, improved it because we put a lot of innovation as part of our culture. And we copy from Silicon Valley, so our culture has a lot of elements from Facebook and Google and the best companies here. And now, when you talk about O2O and logistics and payments, China is the big company. Last year, 6 months ago, no, 1 year ago, there was some, how can I say, trips to China, and people were traveling like 15 people from 15 companies to China to visit many companies. Because Movile like to be aggressive, we made our own trip to China, and we spent 15 people 2 weeks in China just from Movile, and we visited like 30 companies. And we came back, we just dropped away our business plan and said, let's make it 10 times bigger. And then we raised $500 million and we started to move much faster. So China changed our speed. And in October, I will be there again with more 15 people. So the point is, learn with the best. In O2O, Chinese are the best.
Fabricio, talk a little bit about iFood, which is, you know, the biggest business Movile has today. And how does it compare to some of the global companies? We grow twice as much as so iFood is doing right now 20 million deliveries per month just in Brazil, right? Tell us a little bit about what it's doing, how many people in AI. I think we have the largest team doing artificial intelligence within one company, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm super proud of iFood today, and I want to tell you a story for Brazilians and from Silicon Valley guys. Many people 3 or 4 years ago asked to me how iFood can win if you are competing against a European company that was Just Eat by the time. And we said, look, we are here to win, and we are Brazilians, we are going to win against the UK company. Then after we merged and we bought their operations. Then 2 years later, Europe launched Rocket Internet, and they launched a food company in Brazil. And people started to ask, oh my God, there is a Germany company. What we are going to do? Are you going to sell? And again, are you crazy? We are the Brazilians, we are here, we are going to win, then we are going to the world, and we are going to buy them now. That's our plan. And that it's true, okay? Just as a curiosity. But why I'm telling that? Because I started everything talking about dream big. We have to start thinking, we are going to be the best in the world. So, but there is an American, Chinese, Japanese, don't care. We are going to go there and win and keep growing and dominate the world. That's our plan. So it's really
talk about a hungry guy in the food business. Can't get hungrier than you.
Hungry, good. So iFood is growing a lot. 2 companies that are my shareholder are doing an IPO now, one acquisition that Just Eat and Asper is going to list. So if I tell a number that's not in the public PR, I am going to, I cannot tell the number. But the last public number we gave is that we are doing 17.5 million orders with 500 cities and 120,000 delivery guys. And this was in March, and we are growing 130% per year, so it's much more today.
And 100,000 restaurants in the network, right?
Yeah, the last number we said was 62,000 restaurants in March, but we are growing 100% per year, so it's much more today. You see, I got a PR training. Don't tell the numbers, there's 2 IPOs happening right now. No, they made me sign lots of things.
This is all
Please
nobody,
don't tell the numbers.
Nobody tweet, nobody comment.
But we are growing very fast, and so our plans, I believe we are in technology, in food, one of the best in the world. I think we are. I think the Chinese are still better today, Meituan, that is 10, 20 times bigger. But I think we are clearly better than American players and European players. And why? Because on the food area, technology is going to completely disrupt how things work. So people think, it's an app that you just order and someone deliver. The space to put, for example, AI, that's a very bad word that everyone say to do everything. Everyone is AI something. But when you can see AI making the difference, for example, positioning the guy before someone do the order, or reducing the price of something because we can predict the demand for the next 15 days and predict what people are going to order, and even prepare the food before people order. These kind of things, I think we are better than, I don't think we are better than Chinese, but that's the goal.
We are going to announce 2 acquisitions of AI companies, hopefully one in August, one in September. We are late. I expected to announce it like in July and August. But we are acquiring 2 AI companies right now. We have more than 100 people in the data area because no one knows how to do it really, really well in the world. And this is an amazing opportunity. That's the kind of opportunity that can make us leapfrog and be the best in the world. So I think iFood is doing well, not because we are very big in Brazil, we have 80% market share, more than 80. But I think we can lead because we are going to keep innovating in a way that no one else is doing in the world. And how I think I can inspire you on that, I think we can do the best AI for food planning in the world, in São Paulo and Campinas. And I learned a lot from that from Silicon Valley. We have lots of people coming here to learn from Stanford, for example, and many other places, how we can be really good. So what I think bigger, we can do the best companies around Brazil and Silicon Valley, and I hope we can create a much better story in the future.
Wonderful. Do we have time for questions? Okay. Let's open for questions there. Anybody have any questions? Could you just say your name? And I think there's a gentleman there in the back. We need a microphone.
We are going to give iFood coupons to the best questions and Play Kids vouchers for who have kids. And the international market is Play Kids vouchers, and the Brazilian market is iFood vouchers. So please, let's work on these questions to get the vouchers.
On iFood question, O2O business depends on demography being concentrated on. That's why China is the killer in O2O business. São Paulo, Rio, very dense populations. How is iFood managing on non-urban settings for large geographies to deliver, for instance, in Mato Grosso or someplace that?
I think it depends on that to succeed. I don't believe it depends on that to succeed. We are, the last number we published was 500 cities in the beginning of the year. So I can say that I believe we will be in 1,000 cities quite soon. We are growing super fast all around Brazil. We are in cities starting from 50,000 people, what is smaller cities in Brazil. And I think the amazing thing is use technology to do delivery and to plan logistics better. And this is a big leapfrog from 3 years ago. This O2O thing was just like connect what exists to ordering in mobile phones. That's not what we are doing today anymore. How can we plan and optimize? I think Uber started that very well. Uber is doing more or less, but Uber started very well. Doing the planning from the cars. How do you position the cars to be substantially cheaper to use Uber X than use something else? I think this is getting to food where you can position the delivery, doing 3-4 deliveries with one driver. We call it batch planning. And I really believe, just to see how I see that, this market is going to change $1 to $2 trillion in money per year. That is the size of the food market. Actually, it's 3, but $1 trillion is like waste on the food. I think people will have soon better food, cheaper and faster, with less work than they have today. And in 15 years, there will be no kitchen anymore, because you just say to your mobile phone, I want to lunch here in the event that, and the food will arrive, and it's going to be cheaper if you have bought in the supermarket. Actually, our dream scenario is that you don't even ask it to your watch. The watch just know. If you want, you can say, what is your plan for today? And the watch say, I'm going to send you this food at this address. We started talking about that 2 years ago, and this was like a dream. Half of this vision already works today. So in 10 years, food is completely different thing. And there is other 10 verticals that are going to be completely disrupted. So if someone are thinking, I should have entered the food business, food is nice, tax is nice, but many other markets are going to be disrupted. That's the size of the $1 trillion opportunities we have ahead, specifically in Latin America.
Marcelo, here, microphone here.
And Veronica, sorry, this has to be the last question.
Yeah, Fabricio will be around, I think, until lunch, so people can come and
I speak
ask
too
direct
much,
questions.
so.
My name is Marcelo, and Fabricio, I don't think we ever spoke about this, but I was on the wrong side of the equation. I was selling iFood as part of the warehouse fund to you. And quick confession, I was so happy because when you bought iFood, I thought, well, this is not something that I would want to keep in the portfolio. So this is just one of a long career of mistakes I've been making. But one thing that gets my mind is that I don't think you had a plan when you bought it. I always think about this because I think you bought it and then you said, okay, let's figure what we're gonna do with this. I don't think there was a master plan. So finally, I have the opportunity to ask you that.
There is a master plan. It was confidential, but I told everyone today.
He bought it with the capital we invested, so there was a plan.
I know. We're together on that. The master plan is universe domination. Let's build a $10 billion company, then a $100 billion company, then a $1 trillion company. And that's why she said, congratulations, we just started, because we still have 99% ahead. We had clearly this vision, iFood has to help with this big plan. Someone asked me about, we bought lots of people over the last, we did 50 transactions. So we did put lots of money, I'm thinking like $200 million in the hands of the founders of the companies. We spent hundreds of million dollars, we raised like $800 million, we spent a good part acquiring companies. And then sometimes people ask me, but people regret somehow. I don't think that it's a thing to regret anyway. Why? Because that's how the ecosystem will work. Many companies starting in smaller companies, Rio Bravo Investimentos, then they sold to Naspers, then Naspers bought someone else, and then maybe someday our current investor, not Veronica, I hope you never sell, but the other investors are going to sell to bigger things or to the public markets. That's what makes the ecosystem be wealthy. And this is normal here in the Valley. Everyone enters and leaves 2-3 years later. And in Brazil, we had this thing about, this is mine, I'm not going to sell never, because I'm the owner and I have to control, and that's my life. I think this is changing now a lot. I think you had a good return on iFood. The other founder sold, and he got, I'm not going to say the name, but let's say, hypothetically, someone founder of iFood sold and got 100 million reais. And then he started very happy, but today that 100 million reais values maybe $1 billion, I don't know. But the point is, it was important that he sold because someone else, Veronica and Jorge Paulo, could enter, invest, and put us in the next level. These stories are not like I really don't believe that iFood is an idea. No, iFood was some people that put it at some position. Then it was necessary to Movile enter there. If Movile hadn't bought iFood, when we bought it was like 10, 20 people, probably it would be sold to Just Eat.
They were doing 18,000 deliveries at the time.
Yeah, they were thinking about selling the company. Then we said, okay, instead of selling to the European guys, sell to me, let's see what we do. So I was the right partner to get the company at that position and throw it to a bigger thing. Today I have Naspers as shareholder, and Naspers and I together are thinking about, can it be a really big thing? We're talking about tens of billions of dollars, I don't know. Eventually, this is my opinion. And I need a bigger shareholder as Naspers, as Veronica with Jorge Paulo, to think of something bigger. So I think iFood has an amazing cycle in having founders, investors that sold to Series B and C, a new round, then we entered with a goal to do something 10 times bigger. And what was the smart thing on this goal? I had the same goal with other 5 companies. This was the best execution of the iFood. So far, we have more 10 big plans today. Let's, fingers crossed, we'll have more things bigger than iFood in the next years. But thanks for working together in our initial stage of iFood.
Thank you, Marcelo. Well, I think we need to close, but Fabricio is going to be around. I'm around. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. I was going to suggest going, please sit down, Veronica, just for 1 other minute. I was going to suggest that Fabricio, as our last question, ask a question to Veronica, since she's also has had an amazing career with many exits, has been playing a great role in the ecosystem. Ask Veronica a question.
Good. How is your big dream for Brazilian tech investments? As we said in the other panel, things changed completely in the last 5 years. How is going to be the next 5 years?
I think the best is yet to come. I think one of the things that was said in the last panel is that, you know, the market is really, how would I say, poised for growth, because Brazilians are, it's a very big market, early adopters of technology, plenty of growth and penetration in a lot of different segments, and that is a proof of why iFood grew so much. I mean, even though we went through the worst years between 2013 and like last year, all the technology companies that were either creating efficiencies or giving something that was non-accessible, they really did well. So I'm very positive. I think we're also attracting more talents. Those talents aren't just coming from within, but they're even, you know, attracting foreign entrepreneurs who are setting up in Brazil. So Sergio Furio, for example, from Creditas is from Spain. Davi Velez from Nubank is also not a Brazilian. I think he's Colombian. So Brazil is also attracting a lot of talents. It's attracting capital. The venture capital industry, I do mostly growth, but the venture capitalists are incredibly talented as well. You know, you have Redpoint, Monashis, Edson Rigonati here from Astella. So there are a lot of great investors coming in, and the later stage investors as well. So I think we have a great combination and timing. So I'm extremely positive. I think the only thing I'm concerned about is not overdoing it on the valuation side, because not only because obviously we want a return as an investor, and I'm kind of known for being very rough on the valuation side, but I think it's very dangerous when you throw, and I think that would be the biggest lesson, I think, for entrepreneurs. It's very dangerous when you accept something that's overly high, and then you're forced to get an even higher valuation in the next round. So I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs that I've mentored that are suddenly stuck with liquidation preferences or with terms that they're not able to jump to the next level. So I think there should be a very reasonable approach of both sides doing a good deal, because that's good for everyone. And especially the entrepreneur, I'd say, needs to still have a lot of skin in the game to be motivated to continue to grow the businesses, just as you are, you know. So, but I'm extremely positive and happy. I think we're in a great moment. So,
Thank you so much, Fabricio Bloisi and Veronica